ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track, and ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
It's The Other Side of Midnight with Frank Morano. All across America, talk radio and the voices of freedom.
Don't stop talking, don't stop sharing, don't stop laughing, don't stop caring. As long as you've got a voice, don't ever stop.
The phones are open.
As long as you've got truth, don't ever stop.
You're on the air.
As long as you've got love.
What's on your mind?
Ah, yes, that is talk radio's new anthem, Don't Stop Talking, which, as you can hear, is not only quite catchy, but if you listen to the lyrics itself, it's a celebration of talk radio. It's a celebration of free speech, and it shouldn't at all be a surprise at one of the key people that's responsible for that very gravelly voiced authoritative narrator. He is not just the publisher of Talkers Magazine and the host of the Michael Harrison Interview podcast, but he's also a member of Gunhill Road, whose latest song, Don't Stop Talking, is a musical anthem celebrating talk radio. He's also a very good friend of mine and someone who has been a tremendous mentor to me throughout my career from the time I was a teenager. Very, very pleased to welcome back to the program Michael Harrison. Michael, congratulations on the new song. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. Happy holidays to all the listeners, all the folks at the radio station. And it's an honor to be called your mentor, and it has been very gratifying because your career in radio, although I wouldn't call you an overnight success. You've been at it for a while, but your rise has been meteoric.
I appreciate that very much, Michael, and it means a great deal. Now, this song, Don't Stop Talking, I love it because it is catchy. It is something that I think people that don't even necessarily know what a radio is would enjoy the tune of. The video's even better. I'm flattered to be included. We'll talk about that in a second. But usually the worlds of music radio and talk radio are almost separated like church and state. What inspired this idea to do sort of a blending of the two?
Well, first of all, you know that I come from music radio, and before I began my talk radio career a number of decades ago, I had a long career in music radio. So I met Gunhill Road back decades ago, 40 years ago. I used to play them on my show in New York City on the FM album station, and became close to them and knew them over the years. They never broke up. They just stayed together. They'd play, they'd make new music. They would do reunions. And eventually, about 7 years ago, I joined the group. I brought my talk radio sensibilities to the group, and we made music because you're not going to get airplay on music radio anymore if you're a small band. We make music designed for talk radio, music where the lyrics and the issues are predominant, but the music is top quality. People ask, do you use karaoke? Do you hire musicians? No, we play the instruments. It's all organic. It's all original. So it's a very interesting phenomenon that talk radio airplay and attention that people like you have provided Gunhill Road in its new incarnation has propelled the group to having something like 250,000 downloads around the world on the internet in the last few years, and a growing legion of fans.
Wow.
So it's extremely rewarding. Also, the band, which consists of four basic people: Steve Goldrich, Paul Reich, Brian Coonan, me, and my son, Matthew B. Harrison, who is the producer of the video element of the operation. We feel like we wanted to give back to talk radio this time around. So we penned an anthem to talk radio and basically focused on all the things that are good about talk radio, including in the video, the diversity that's there. There's many different kinds of talk show hosts in this country, and listeners. So I think we hit the target because it's been very well received.
Absolutely.
And for that, I'm grateful.
I've linked to the video on my Facebook page, and we got a great response when I linked to the video that you guys did, "Idiots Walk Among Us," which I still refer to, and I still share with people whenever they talk about some idiocy that they've heard on some radio station. Not any of the ones that I'm on, of course, but other radio stations. And if people want to watch this video, which I do recommend because of all the real life talk show hosts that are in it, they can go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/Morano fan. I love the video. I think your son did a great job. Oh, and by the way, if people aren't familiar with Gunhill Road, a lot of them will remember them from their first incarnation back in the 70s in that terrific song, "Back When My Hair Was Short." I never thought that I would hear them doing songs about talk radio, which is just great.
It is remarkable. They were young kids out of New York City, and they got a lot of airplay in New York. They had a couple of albums. They were an album rock band, and they had that hit "Back When My Hair Was Short" in the early 70s that made it to all the charts and was on top 40 radio all over the place. So their story is a wonderful story. Yep. I'm proud to be part of it, and it's all very colorful. And it's very unique indeed.
Obviously, we were talking about the video before. It's great. You've got dozens of great talk show hosts from all around the country. Why was that important to actually have a compilation of different hosts to be in the video itself? Obviously, there's a lot of great AI artwork, which is compelling visually and really meshes with the audio well. Why did you want to include real talk show hosts as well?
I think it's interesting to look at the people in action. I think it's interesting to see them, to identify the hosts and their names, to show the diversity. There's white, there's black, there's yellow, there's female, male, old, young, north, east, west, south. There's something very exciting about the video component if the video component tells a story. So it gives it an extra level of dimension. You get to see inside the studios. You see the different microphones. It's very fast-paced. I think we have somewhere between 86 and 90 images of talk show hosts in action. We originally were going to have just hosts, but then we decided to put the AI elements. AI, folks, is just the video. There's no AI in the audio. And to give it a little bit more excitement, there were logos of radio stations, old radios. And then we have a scene that's it's artistic rendering of a traffic jam, and you hear all the listeners talking to each other, and you hear this cacophony of issues, China, Russia, war, natural disasters, all the things that we talk about. Bing, bang, boom. It's very fast, so that's why. I mean, I think the video aspect works, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. It's very effective, no doubt about it. At 30 minutes after the hour, this is The Other Side of Midnight. My guest is Michael Harrison. We're talking about his new video with Gunhill Road, Don't Stop Talking, which you've got to check out. It's really terrific. Michael, you've got a great voice, but I wouldn't necessarily characterize it as a great singing voice. That's why I've noticed your role in a lot of these songs tends to be more of a spoken word artist. Tell me how your style of speaking and your style of audio commentary kind of blends with the guys that might be a little bit more traditionally musically inclined.
Well, it's as I said, it's an honor to do this. I've always been very shy of singing. I'm not shy of stop talking. I've been a talker. I publish a magazine called Talkers. I've been talking all my life. Don't Stop Talking is the name of the song. But I love music, and I have with the you call me your mentor. Well, they're my musical mentors. With the mentoring of my bandmates, they've gotten me to sing a little bit more. But there's nothing worse than somebody who thinks they can sing and they can't. That's embarrassing. So I ease into it, relying on my ability to speak, to talk. But I think that I'm getting a little better at it. I have one song that I wrote the music and the words to called I Got a Line in New York City about an out-of-work actor. And that song and video are the closest thing I come to actually singing. If you listen closely to the track of Don't Stop Talking, you can hear I do actually sing a few lines backed up by them. The mix is very interesting. So I'm becoming a singer, but I'm predominantly a talker, but we are a four-way democracy. We collaborate on everything. It's a wonderful relationship, and I love my role as a lyricist and as a songwriter, and the fact that we do rely on my ability to speak and a little bit of my singing. I have found myself to be a valid member of the band.
No question about it. And I think your contributions in this song are very noticeable. One of the things that you said in terms of putting this song out there is that talk radio is vital in this climate in celebrating and continuing to promote free speech. How come? Why is talk radio still so essential in the free speech department?
Well, first of all, talk radio is one of the first to the party in terms of the modern era of the marketplace of ideas. It's the original social media. And talk radio's liveness, localness, and I don't necessarily mean there's something wrong with national shows, but there are radio stations carrying them in every community. Mm-hmm. So radio is ubiquitous. It's easy to get to. It's accessible. People have radios. You can now get to it on digital devices. And it is not afraid in real time to talk about real issues. And the people attracted to it as talent have opinions. And they talk about important things live, spontaneously, and in depth. And you don't see that anywhere else. I think that is a vital foundation upon which free speech and democracy operate. And I don't see it going away. I also think that the media is no longer really broken into mainstream media, legacy media, alternative media. It's all the same. Everything's fractionalized, and talk radio plays a major role in keeping it real. And if you know what I mean, you turn to talk radio to hear what's really happening. It may be in your bubble, it may be in your echo chamber, it may be different than your friend down the block who's listening to a different station, but it's real. And I think that is very supportive of both the letter of the law, the First Amendment, and the spirit of the law. We call that free speech. And I think it's pretty obvious.
If you're just tuning in, this is The Other Side of Midnight. I'm Frank Morano. My guest is Michael Harrison. He's the publisher of Talkers Magazine, also the host of a terrific podcast, which I listen to each week. You could just search the Michael Harrison interview. It comes right up. And we're talking about this new song, Don't Stop Talking. Michael, at the end of the video, there's a quote from you saying that talk radio is the most accurate bellwether of American public opinion in the media today. You know, we have a lot of listeners that may be on the left side politically. I think this is one of the few shows in the talk radio sphere that still has a lot of listeners on the left, the right, the center, even some people that may not necessarily consider themselves political. Some of the folks on the left may take issue with that because some of the criticism that I hear of talk radio from folks on the left is that it's largely become a right-wing echo chamber, and they wouldn't necessarily consider that to be an accurate bellwether of where American public opinion is. What do you say to that, Michael?
I say to that, the fact that Donald Trump won the Electoral College, the fact that Donald Trump won the popular vote, I think that certainly undoes that notion that the people who are on talk radio are not reflecting the opinion of the American public. It's not the only opinion of the American public. There are opinions. And I think that public radio and liberal radio and African American community radio and all of the other kinds of radio that come under the umbrella of Talk and Talkers Magazine, I think that they also reflect public opinion. It's not to insinuate that American public opinion is a monolith. There's many different aspects to it, and you'll hear it on talk radio. But this election really opened a lot of people on the left's eyes that talk radio, or let's say conservative media, is not some marginalized, esoteric, arcane part of the spectrum of people's thoughts. No, they didn't think Trump had a chance. And I'm not saying that talk radio and Trump are allied, but it is the conservative element that has been marginalized by the middle and the left, and I think that they learned quite a lesson from that, and therefore I think it's clear that talk radio has been and continues to be the most accurate bellwether of American public opinion in the media today, when looked at in its total form.
There is a lot of concern about AI taking over the world, or at least in the short term, taking a lot of jobs from artists, writers, voiceover artists, even talk show hosts. You guys have sort of leaned into AI with the depictions that you use in these videos. Talk to me about that, Michael. The folks that say, oh, no, you guys are supposed to be supporting real human beings, not promoting the work done by computers. I'm sure you've heard that argument before.
I see computers as an extension of humanity. I see AI as just a modern digital version of the paintbrush, which is an extension of the hand. When the cave artists were painting with their fingers and somebody invented a paintbrush, I'm sure the Artists Association of Cavemen said, "This is not art. You're using a tool. You're using a machine." With the advent of new technology, it ups the game. It raises the bar for artists. For talk show hosts who are afraid that AI voices and algorithms are going to replace them in terms of conversation on the radio, you'd better up your game. You'd better be more original, because the only thing AI can do is draw upon stuff that's already out there. And unfortunately, too many talk show hosts, I call them talking point hosts. I do not consider you one of them. I consider you to be the remedy to that.
Thank you.
Okay, but you know what I'm saying. They go in, they go, okay, what are the current views on, in terms of the people I'm trying to get to, the ones that I'm doing the daily dance of affirmation with, and they run through the list. Well, you can't do that, because the AI and the computers and the algorithms will be able to beat you at it. They can do it faster. They can draw upon any information in the world that's already in cyberspace and spit it out probably more eloquently than a human being can. It's only going to get better. What you got to do is what Rush Limbaugh used to do. You got to be original all the time. And that's the key to the whole thing.
Michael, since you mentioned Donald Trump and his relationship with talk radio, a lot of people are very hopeful in the talk radio sphere about the next 4 years of Donald Trump. And I don't necessarily mean for the country, but in terms of what it means for talk radio, because he does offer such comedic sound bites, because he does make himself so available to a lot of different talk shows, because he does seem, I don't know, to have sort of the sensibilities of either a talk show host or a talk show listener. Others are saying, no, if you look at the best years that at least conservative talk radio had, they tended to be when they were rebelling against people like Bill Clinton. As an expert on this stuff, Michael, what do you think the next 4 years are likely to mean for the talk radio business?
Talk radio has got to always remember that it is not a political party, and it should never marry or give its heart to any politician. And Donald Trump is just another politician. Talk radio can lend its support to him, but I don't think it should make itself part and parcel the same platform, the same party, the same special interest as anybody. Donald Trump is not an outsider. He plays the part of an outsider. He's a president. Presidents are dangerous. I like talk radio when it opposes the status quo, whatever that status quo is. Big government, big business, big religion, big entertainment, big media, big pharma, big tech. Mm-hmm. That's our role. We should support things when we agree with them, but we should not marry them. We should not become representatives of these kind of companies, organizations, or people. So I say Donald Trump is fair game at this point. And as to whether he'll have a successful second administration or not, time will tell. I'm not here to say whether he will or not, but I encourage talk radio. Don't pander. Don't tell people what they want to hear. Don't play to the people that adore Trump. Don't do that. He's president. He's dangerous. He's human. Just like Clinton, just like the Bushes, just like everybody that has that kind of awesome power over our lives and our health and our wealth. And we've got to, that's our job, is to give them a tough time, hold their feet to the fire, and that includes Trump.
One of the things that you feature in the video is a lot of people taking phone calls. And obviously, for the last 70 years, phone calls have been a big part of the talk radio experience, going all the way back to Barry Gray. These days, I've noticed that younger folks especially, but even older folks, they're shying away from direct phone calls and more preferring text messaging, social media, written correspondence, which is something that I think if you told people 40 years ago, they would have laughed at you, but that's exactly what's happening. What do you think that portends for the future of talk radio?
I think that the idea of being able to be on the radio and have your friends hear you is not as much of a novelty in 2024 as it was in 1984. Now there are people who have Facebook pages that have more listeners and more followers than some radio stations do. So everybody's in show business, and the audience has an audience. So getting callers on is not as easy, and it's not the only way now to expediently handle the opinion and the feedback of the audience. But I do think it's part of talk radio's tradition. I do think it's something that talk radio should not give up on. I think that the idea of people being able to call in real time, especially during breaking news, crises,
Sure.
natural disasters, I think it's an important part. We may have given it a little bit more attention than it has in reality at this point, but I think it's an important thing to point out that the telephone talk call-in aspect of talk radio remains an important part of its package.
Michael Harrison, it is always a treat to talk with you. Wishing you the best in terms of the holiday season. I'm looking forward to spending a lot more time with you in 2025. Keep at it. I love what you're doing, and thanks for all the work that you've done, not only for me, but for everybody that does spoken word in all of its forms, whether it's radio, whether it's podcasting, or forms yet to be invented yet.
Frank Morano, you are a treasure. Thank you so much for having me on. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah to your listeners and to you and your family.
Thank you, Michael Harrison. If you want to comment on any portion of our conversation, you could give me a call. Our phone number is 646-720-0635. That's 646-720-0635. And yes, you can text at 8168-MORANO. That's 8168-MORANO. This is The Other Side of Midnight. Straight ahead.
What do you think? All across America, talk radio and the voices of freedom.
Don't stop talking, don't stop sharing.